I understand that the Eurasia Group has done a study looking at the top political risks for 2009. Could you let us know what you found?
Without giving away the store, Joel, look, we know it's a tough climate out there. We're in the middle of a global economic crisis that's pretty much unprecedented for what most of us have experienced in our lifetimes. It's an environment where fundamentals don't matter very much. Gold prices are up right now, and they're up in part because people aren't investing, because money's not out there. So to a certain extent, the risks that are out there are sort of all systemic. It's everything and it's nothing at the same time.
Right.
But if we can take a step beyond that, we're clearly into an environment where the United States appears to be more of an emerging market, where people are very concerned about to what extent the United States government has the leadership capacity to implement policies. That's the biggest risk. If you have to sort of really boil it down, usually a country like the United States, you want gridlock. You don't want the government to do too much because you don't like the uncertainty. Now things have gotten so bad, so cumbersome, so worrisome that people are saying we must have a strong leadership in place to ensure those policies happen. Do they or don't they? That's the question.
Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that the economic issues are clearly the top risk. And then underneath that, then the question is the risk of inaction is greater than the risk of action? Would that be fair to say?
I think I would say that for 2009, the single biggest risk out there will be the political capacity and willingness of the United States to take the steps that are both suitable and seem to be suitable to respond to this global economic crisis. So the economic crisis is, sort of the fundamental driver, but the risk for 2009, we have the crisis. Right. We understand the problem, or we think we do, at least the scale of it. How capable will the United States be to react, and frankly, how coordinated will the international response be with the United States?
Well, just looking specifically at the United States first, there's been a lot of talk about regulation. And would it be fair to say that the need for action is more regulation, and in what direction, or do we need a more nuanced approach?
I think that people want strong stimulus. The fact that people talked about an Obama bounce, six months ago, when you talked to the biggest financial players globally and they were looking ahead to the U.S. elections, they'd say, if Obama's going to win, and if you're going to get a strong Democratic Congress, that would be a negative thing. We'll be short the U.S. dollar, we'll be short U.S. equities, because Lord knows we don't want all of American politics in one hand or in the other, one party or the other. Right. That's the sort of thing you want from Turkey. You want that from India. You don't want that from the United States. We're in a different environment right now. But do we want lots of regulatory policy? I don't think so. I think what we want is stimulus. The danger is, I think, we get lots of regulatory policy that's seen as inefficient. We know that the last time we had a major crisis, Enron, the response was Sarbanes-Oxley. I don't think folks want to see another one of those.
Right. Well, looking at the United States, again, there's a lot of concern, too, about jobs and the loss of jobs. How should we be thinking about that in terms of the spectrum between protection and openness? Any sense there of what the risks are in either direction? When
Obama came out as president-elect, the first policy that he spoke about in the first couple of weeks was stimulus for the automotive industry. Right. And that's about jobs at the end of the day. Right. And it's also about jobs in the Midwest, which is particularly relevant, given where Obama hails from. There's no question that no matter what the playbook was when Obama was running for president, when he becomes president, talking about job creation is going to be incredibly important, and how he does that in terms of what sectors he decides he wants to bail out as the economic crisis starts to cycle through the real economy, and also in terms of public infrastructure spending and how the U.S. government increasingly becomes the employer of last resort. One of the most important things I see in the environment right now is that New York, we're sitting in New York City, New York used to be the world's financial capital. New York is no longer America's economic capital. Washington is. I can't think of a greater leitmotif for risk in 2009 than that statement.